Today, and it said, "Hi Bert, in your scripts you often mention there's nothing to learn. Can you please elaborate?" Okay, one of the things that we eventually learn is that there is nothing to learn, but only to unlearn. We develop a lot of patterns, you see, and initially we just say, oh, I'm going to learn something new. But the truth is that there's nothing to learn because you know all the truth that there is to know. And that is, you are here, and it is now. And this presence is everything, answers everything, and is all that we ever want. So even now, which will be covering more in-depth questions, I'd like you to focus on one very important thing. Okay? Just be here. Be totally here. Forget your name, forget your past for a moment, forget any ideas, and just see what are you right now. And what you are is here. Presence. You're aware of everything. Did you know when you stop paying attention to a particular thing, you're aware of everything? You're aware of the people in the room, you're aware of the colors, you're aware of the carpet. Immediately, there's total awareness. Did you know that that total awareness, the total presence that you are, is complete? It is love, it is compassion, it is forgiveness, it is allowing, it is surrender, it is beauty. It is the eternal in you, because it's the only thing that does not change. See, when we look out, everything is changing. Everything. But you, the awareness of you never changes. You look at your album when you were a baby and a teenager and an adult. So many changes have gone through, but you still say, I am that baby. Why? Because you've always been the same awareness. It cannot die because it was never born. You see? But why is it that we refuse to see it? You see, there's a part of us that refuses to see it. One other question that I got yesterday, which would be relevant here. It's a very long email, but I'm just going to quote just one little thing. This woman had requested a video, and I sent it to her, and she watched it with her husband. And she said the following: my husband came in and started watching it, and at the end asked, "How do you teach someone the second part?" And she said, "Well, what second part are you referring to?" He said, "The part that needs to feel it and apply it to everyday living." You see, we believe that when we hear certain words, that we know the words. You don't know the words until you begin to recognize them with your own heart, applying it to now. Now, this presence, this love that you are, this moment itself. And it is not hard to recognize because it's all that there is. You might say, this is all that there is? Oh, yes. But it's infinite, it's eternal. You might say, what about tomorrow? Show me tomorrow. You see? Show me yesterday. But now I can show you. Here you are, aware. You see? And this is the truth. This is it. And this is called aliveness. Aliveness, you see? Alive. I am. I am this aliveness. And this aliveness is all that there is. Now we think, that there's something esoteric we're going to learn, or there are many masters, there are teachers who are going to teach us, there is this and there is that. But in truth there is nothing but this. See, when Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you, he wasn't whistling Dixie. He was saying, this is it. It's not going to be, you're not going to achieve it. You're not going to even acquire it. Nothing. It is. It is now complete. Another thing, too, that I find fascinating is the thing about time, you see. Because the moment we begin to see how everything is now, then the question does not arise, how am I going to live it? The question does not arise, because the moment you recognize that this presence is all that there is, it lives you. You don't live it anymore. You see, it starts living you. You meet the people at the right time, you meet the right book, you hear the right thing, you just hear, you're in love. You see? You're in love because you are that very love itself, which is presence. So there's nothing apart from it. One thing about being here now, being in this moment, this presence, is the thing about time. And of course the time is brought about by the earth rotating around the sun, right? We know that. But what happens, we gave it words, we gave it seconds, we gave it minutes, we gave it hours, we gave it days, weeks, months, years, etc., etc. But all we ever see is the change that is happening within presence. So, for example, if I were to walk from here to there, it would take me a couple of seconds. You see? If I were to walk from here to the end of the street, it might take me 10 minutes. If I were to walk from here to Toronto, it might take me... Just to give you an idea. But is really time going by, or is it just motion of energy? And so because of that, we think in terms of time. So people think of eternity as a very, very long time. Forever time, you see? But now, eternity has nothing to do with time. Nothing. Eternity is now. You see? Now can never end because it never began. So when you begin to experience your presence, you realize you haven't even been born. Oh, you were given a form, you see, called soul, which is, of course, that particular aspect of you, which is a unique expression of you. But you, the real you, which is nothing but aliveness, awareness, being here, has never known. Can you think, can you imagine, never have been? Or never going to be? It can't. Because the one who's aware is awareness itself. The Christ, the God, the is, the I am. You see, it doesn't matter what title, the Buddha, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's all the same thing. It's all the oneness. So, what is interesting is that I went over on my questions in the email, and I just collected a few. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And what each one believes, and I put it down. So one, for example, person asked, how do you love yourself? Because am I loving the ego, or am I loving the real self? Well, first of all, there is only one self. Presence. Okay? That's all that there is. Everything else comes because you don't believe you are the presence, you believe you are time. I believe I am Burt, my accomplishments, and my past. That is part of the package, yes. But my real essence is now, is this moment. You see, if I identify for 1 second about being who I think I am, at that moment, I lose touch with this presence. Now let's see what happens when you start losing touch with this presence. First of all, loving yourself really is nothing more than self-respect. A woman asked me, and she said, Burt, she said, I still suffer guilt and shame and these feelings, and many people say that to me. What is shame? What is guilt? Let me give you an example. See, presence is that part that is aware. It's constantly witnessing. It's aware of everything. It's just like somebody back here looking at everything. Did you know that when you're angry, there's a part of you that is aware that you're being angry? And the more aware you are, probably you start laughing after a while, how insane the whole thing was. You see, there's always a watcher. So let's assume you enter a store, okay? I'm just making it up as I go along, but I think it's going to be good. Thank you. And so you enter a store, and it's full of goodies, and you don't have much money. And there are no store detectives, and you see the one thing you want. You wanted it so badly, but you don't have the money. Now, nobody's watching. There's no one. All you have to do is put it in your pocket, and you walk out, right? You're not going to be caught. It's impossible, because nobody's watching, nobody's there. Okay? What happens the moment you do that? You suffer a little guilt. Yeah. Why is that? There's nobody watched, nobody told you did something wrong. Because there is the presence, the watcher constantly is.